Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're walking through a highly practical, fast-paced study roadmap to launch a fully functional, secure SaaS MVP in literally just 48 hours. If you've been sitting on an amazing business idea but felt completely paralyzed because you don't know a single line of code, well, this is built exactly for you. No jargon, no technical experience required, just pure execution.
Look at this. This is a very real, very painful quote from a founder on Reddit. They were quoted between $8,000 and $22,000 just to get a basic product off the ground. It's crazy, right? Traditional coding barriers completely freeze non-technical founders, leaving them feeling like their startup is dead before it even begins. But here's the brutal, no-nonsense truth for 2026. You absolutely do not need to spend tens of thousands of dollars or waste months hunting for a technical co-founder just to validate your idea.
To see why, we have to adopt a massive mental shift. The old way? That was spending 6 months trying to learn React yourself, or shelling out $150,000 for a senior developer. The 2026 way completely flips that script. You are no longer a developer, you are an architect. You command incredibly powerful AI builders using clear, everyday English prompts, and you ship your product in hours, not months.
So, here is your ultimate syllabus to go from idea to revenue over a single weekend. We'll start with the founder's reality, move to the 3 MVP pillars, and break down the perfect prompt formula. Then we'll cover the shield to protect your costs and security, walk step by step through the 48-hour roadmap, and finally, wrap up with the launch.
Section 1. The founder's reality. Why syntax is basically dead, and why scope is your biggest enemy.
Because AI can now write perfect syntax in seconds, systems thinking is literally the only skill that matters. Seriously, stop trying to learn how to write code. Your biggest threat isn't the code anyway, it's scope creep. Focusing on your MVP means building 3 to 5 core features and shipping them immediately. Scope creep is wasting 3 days adding a dark mode for an app that currently has 0 users. So, here is your absolute mantra for this explainer. Build one thing and ship it. Please, do not build features for imaginary users. Section 2. The 3 MVP pillars. Builder, logic, and launch.
Let's look at the architectural foundation of the 2026 AI stack. We're going to use some really simple analogies here, zero confusing jargon. First, Lovable or Bolts.new. These are your builders. Think of them as your contractor. They build the actual web apps and interfaces right from your text. Second is Make.com, your plumbing. It handles the logic and visually glues all your automations together. And third is Hostinger. This is your plot of land, where your domain and hosting actually live.
$50. No, seriously, $50. That is the maximum total monthly cost for this entire AI-powered MVP stack. Compare that $50 to those $22,000 agency quotes we saw at the start. The barrier to entry hasn't just been lowered, it's been completely demolished. Section 3. The perfect prompt formula. Spec, constraint, persona. Now, these powerful tools are completely useless without the right instructions. Enter the spec, constraint, persona framework. This is a literal cheat code for generating clean, production-ready code. Vague prompts just yield generic garbage. If you just ask for a modern app, you're going to get AI slop. Instead, you have to specify exactly what to build, explicitly constrain what not to build, and tell the AI exactly what persona or role it needs to adopt.
Let's break down a highly practical example for a SaaS product. Your spec says, build a SaaS for this specific target user with these 3 core features. Your constraint, and this is crucial, says, do not include dark mode or analytics, MVP scope only. Finally, your persona. Act as a senior React developer prioritizing clean code and security. Setting these exact constraints is the secret sauce. It completely prevents the AI from overcomplicating your app and wasting your weekend.
Section 4. The shield. Security and costs. Protecting your MVP from bots and surprise bankruptcies. Okay, tone shift for a second, because this is a serious warning. Launching without limits is incredibly dangerous. Take this horror story from our source material. The author shipped a beautiful app, but completely forgot to set database limits. A bot found it in 6 hours, scraped the entire API, and spiked their hosting bill by $340 in a single night. The database crashed, real users couldn't log in, and it basically ruined their launch. This is a crucial cautionary tale. To prevent that from happening to you, you must use this detailed audit checklist before you ever share your URL publicly. First, implement rate limiting. Think of this as the nightclub bouncer that keeps malicious, rapid-fire bot traffic out of your club. Second, set a hard maximum of 20 database connections. Third, enforce a 10-second timeout for queries. Fourth, and this one is massive, set spending alerts at 80% on all your dashboards so you never get a surprise bill. And finally, audit and protect your sensitive payment webhooks so your financial data is locked down tight.
Section 5, the practical 48-hour roadmap. Your exact countdown to launch.
Let's turn everything we've just learned into a literal weekend sprint. Step 1 covers your first 4 hours. You are the architect here. You write your spec prompt and set up your Stripe accounts for payments. Then, Step 2 takes us through hour 12. This is the magic moment where you paste your prompt into Lovable or Bolt to actually generate the app. The AI builds the interface, connects the database, and sets up user authentication while you direct it.
Moving into the middle phase, Step 3. You spend hours 13 to 20 setting up your logic with Make.com. You visually glue your payment webhooks to your welcome emails, and you implement those absolutely crucial rate limits we talked about. Then, in Step 4, hours 21 to 30, you shift gears to marketing. You build a fast, clean landing page in Canva, generate your copy using Writer, and get it all hosted securely on Housenger.
Entering the final stretch now. Step 5, hours 31 to 40, is all about testing. You must manually use the app on your phone, intentionally try to break it, and fix the top 3 vital errors you find. Finally, Step 6, the last 8 hours. You set up Wise for low-fee global payments, write a really authentic launch post that tells your real story, and you hit publish.
Section 6, the product launch, getting it into the hands of actual users.
Because an MVP with 0 users, well, that's just a hobby. Your absolute unbreakable rule here is launch first, scale later. A lot of founders get totally paralyzed wondering if this AI stack can handle 10,000 concurrent users. Listen to me, do not architect solutions for problems you do not have yet. When you launch, your only goal is to get your first 10 paying customers. Ship the product first and scale it later when server load is actually a problem.
I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on. What is the impossible feature you are going to build this weekend? Because the gap between having an idea and having a working application is now measured in hours, not years. The tools are right here, they cost less than $50, and you don't need to know a single line of code to use them. So stop waiting around. Open a builder, start writing your spec, and make it happen. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.